The story begins in a haunting moment from Jennifer Walters' past. Everything feels different and surreal, as if time itself is slowed down. Jen remembers the moment when her life was suddenly torn apart, the moment she was shot. Her body suspended in darkness, falling helplessly through a swirling abyss. Blood spills from the gunshot wound in her back as gravity pulls her deeper into the void. Jen remembers the strange realization she had while dying. I was never afraid to die, and then I died. Jennifer's memory of the moment she was shot comes back in scattered flashes as she recalls the exact sensations of that day. The first thing she remembers isn't the sight of the gunman, but the sharp, explosive sound that rang out like a firecracker before she felt the impact slam into her back. The bullet hit like a brutal punch, knocking the breath out of her as papers flew from her hands and blood splattered behind her. As she collapses, her senses begin fading, but fragments of the moment burn into her mind. She remembers hearing her cousin Bruce Banner's voice, yet it didn't sound quite right. It was familiar, but also deeper and harsher, almost guttural, like the voice of a gray stone. Bruce prepares a transfusion, forcing his own gamma-irradiated blood into her body while clenching his teeth and urging her to survive. As the blood enters her veins through the IV, a burning sensation spreads through her arms and her fading consciousness begins slipping away from the hospital room. Her thoughts spiral as reality twists around her and she feels a deep sense that something has gone terribly wrong. Her mind flips and spins as if the world itself is reversed, and suddenly it feels like she is falling down a vertical shaft. Far below, a strange glowing passage appears, the green door. The metaphysical barrier that connects the world of the living to the below place, the deepest layer beneath the multiverse where gamma mutates pass after death before returning again. Jen doesn't understand what it is in the moment. She only feels herself dropping further and further toward it. A sensation like falling, down and down, forever and ever. Jen's memory shifts to what came after the fall. She finds herself standing in a nightmarish place deep in the below place, a ruined, hellish city stretching endlessly around her. She looks upward and sees something impossible. A massive face staring down from the sky itself, and then it declares that she carries its mark. At the time, however, Jen never fully understood what she was experiencing. Her mind, still trying to make sense of dying and being saved, dismissed the moment as just another strange sensation that comes with trauma and near death. After all, she had been shot and was bleeding out. Hallucinations would make sense. Because of the strange nature of the green door in the below place, the experience would later be erased from her memory when she returned to life. So in the moment, she simply rationalizes the vision and moves on, telling herself, "It probably doesn't mean anything." Jennifer's memories move forward to the moment she finally wakes up in the hospital after surviving the attack. As she slowly regains consciousness in the hospital bed, she learns what actually happened. The mob had tried to assassinate her in broad daylight, gunning her down and leaving her dying. The only reason she survived was because Bruce Banner intervened and saved her life by giving her his gamma-irradiated blood. But that transfusion didn't just heal her, it changed her forever. Jen realizes she has been reborn as something new, a Hulk. But unlike Bruce's uncontrollable transformations, she still has control of herself. As that realization sinks in, the anger from being shot and nearly killed erupts inside her, triggering her first transformation. Her eyes glow green as gamma power surges through her body, and in seconds she transforms into She-Hulk. The hospital bed shatters under the sudden burst of strength. Food trays and medical equipment flying everywhere as the room is thrown into chaos. In the middle of the destruction, she grabs a terrified doctor by the neck and lifts him off the ground. Even though she's furious, she still recognizes that she's holding herself together better than Bruce ever could in his early days. Looking back on the moment now, she remembers the anger clearly. But from the start, I had control. The story shifts from Jennifer's past to the present day, after the chaos caused by the Kotati invasion. Now fully in her She-Hulk form, Jen is in the middle of a fight, driving her fist straight into the face of the villain Tantrum and launching him into the air with a thunderous blow while shouting, "Hulk smash!" As she fights, she reflects on who Tantrum is, a criminal she has dealt with before. He's not particularly complicated as villains go. He thrives on chaos, robbing places and terrifying people because his mutant ability lets him convert the fear around him into raw strength. With the world recently thrown into panic during the Kotati invasion, the amount of fear available must have been like an open buffet for him. Even after being smashed across the street and left bleeding, Tantrum only grins because he can literally feel the anger radiating off of She-Hulk. And that emotion fuels his power even more. But instead of backing down, Jen embraces the fight and doubles down on the beating, hammering him again with brutal force because having an enemy that gets stronger from anger just makes him the perfect punching bag. Tantrum, still grinning despite the beating, prepares to continue the fight and even welcomes the chaos, suggesting they might as well put on a show. But before he can finish the sentence, the fight ends abruptly. Wolverine suddenly appears from behind and drives his claws straight through Tantrum's back in a surprise attack, instantly dropping him to the ground. As Tantrum collapses, Wolverine casually declares, "And that's that," explaining that it didn't look like She-Hulk's brute force approach was solving the problem, so he decided to sneak in and finish it quickly. He then says, "Hope you don't mind." She-Hulk replies saying, "Hulk not mind, Wolverine." "But you killed Tantrum?" Logan calmly retracts his claws and reassures her that things aren't as final as they look. With Krakoa now existing as a mutant nation, they have healers capable of bringing mutants back from injuries that would normally be fatal. Wolverine shrugs the whole thing off, saying, "Trust me, he'll live." After Tantrum is taken down, Wolverine explains what will happen next. Since Tantrum is a mutant, he technically belongs on Krakoa just like every other mutant, even if he's a criminal. Logan says Tantrum will be taken there and judged under mutant law because the stunt he pulled likely broke the rules the mutants live by now. "He's got a place on the island like anyone else. Anyone else who's a mutant anyway." She-Hulk scoffs. "Nice for some." Wolverine gives her reply. He reflects on what Krakoa means for mutants in general. For years, mutants were hated, feared, hunted, and killed, constantly treated like enemies by the rest of the world. Now they finally have something that belongs to them. An island where mutants can live safely among their own kind. Logan points out that for mutants, reaching this point means they finally have a place where they don't have to run anymore. Then he contrasts that with Jen's situation. From his perspective, her life never had that struggle. She has always been a public hero, a celebrated Avenger who the world already accepted and admired. "You got everything you always had. Krakoa existing don't affect you one bit, except for it's a thing you can't have. Nice for some." Jen doesn't respond to the jab immediately. After a quiet moment, she shifts the conversation, saying she actually wanted to talk to him. "Hulk. Want talk Logan. Need quiet though. And..." She then transforms back into Jennifer Walters so she can speak normally again. She suggests, "Can we go somewhere and get a beer?" Later, Jennifer and Logan inside a quiet bar that hasn't reopened yet after the chaos caused by recent events. Jen comments that the place is definitely quiet enough for the kind of conversation she wanted. Wolverine moves behind the counter and starts pulling out beer bottles, explaining that the bar only recently got back on its feet after everything that happened, and that it will officially reopen in a few days. He mentions that the owner is an old friend of his who actually gave him a key to the place. Jen immediately calls him out, pointing out that she literally just watched him pick the lock with one of his claws. Logan casually brushes that off, saying he never claimed to have the key with him. After popping the bottle caps off using his claws, he asks what she actually wanted to talk about, adding that if she's planning to give another speech about how Hulks have it the worst, he's heard that kind of talk plenty of times before. But Jen then asks about something very specific from Logan's experience. She asks what it was like for him to come back from the dead. Logan pauses, slightly caught off guard by the direction of the conversation. "That's a big question, Walters." Wolverine, clearly uneasy about where the conversation is heading, explains that the topic is far bigger than it seems and hints that there are things about death and what lies beyond it that he shouldn't talk about. Jen pushes back slightly, asking whether he means some kind of forbidden knowledge from beyond the veil, but Logan clarifies that it's simpler than that. Stuff I don't want to tell you. Stuff you don't want to know. Jen accepts that boundary and explains she isn't trying to uncover some forbidden secret. What she really wants to talk about is the experience itself. During the Kotati invasion, she was killed and now she's alive again. And it's not the first time either. It might be the third time. There might be a fourth. Logan has gone through similar things many times. Buried alive in adamantium, blown apart by massive explosions, and still coming back thanks to his healing factor. Because he has lived through those impossible resurrections, she hopes he might understand how to deal with it. Wolverine sits quietly for a moment after hearing Jen's question, thinking about how to respond. Instead of giving some mystical explanation about death, he starts with something simpler. He asks her whether she still feels like the same person she was before. Jen answers honestly that she does. It's still the same body and she's still Jennifer Walters. Logan tells her that if that's true, then she shouldn't overthink it. From his perspective, surviving things that should have killed you is just part of what people like them deal with. The first time it happens, maybe even the second, it can shake you up and make you question everything. But at the end of the day, the important thing is that the person who came back is still you. The people around you still recognize you, your friends still know you, and your life continues. They see you, and they know you. It's you. Logan compares it to the kind of extreme healing that people like him, Bruce, and other superpowered individuals experience. They recover from things that would normally kill people, but that doesn't mean it has to become some deep existential mystery. In his view, the danger comes from obsessing over the meaning behind it and digging into things that might be better left alone. It's still just healing, all it needs to be. Don't look for stuff to make it weird, Walters. That's all I'm saying. You open that door, it makes it hard to do the work, and the work always needs doing. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel.